Hey everyone, welcome back to another writing video. My name's Alyssa and this is my channel, She Writes Books. Today I just wanted to kind of do a writing goals for 2020 video. I did write them out this morning and then I realized, well, I have time before going shopping, Christmas shopping with my dad, so why not just film a goals video for 2020? Now, it may be a bit harder because I don't know if I'll actually be able to keep my job or not. It just depends. And yeah, it just kind of all depends because if I do keep my job or I am able to keep my job, then it will be a lot harder to have time. Of course, I can write on my days off, but on my days where I'm working, I'm kind of too tired, even in the mornings when I wake up, which I don't even wake up until 10 to 11, because I get home at 11 p.m., but I just don't have as much time as I did, and now I value my time a bit more, and especially being able to sit down a bit more. So I have my Outlander Claire in the Pocket Deluxe size. I just have a Papermate Inkjoy gel pen that I've been using. I've got some stuff back there, and I've got cards up here, and this is actually a story. This notebook is actually a story that I'm working on, and then I switched back into my blue notebook just so I can finish the year off in this one, because I did have these inserts in here. I'm still going to be using this one because that's for something special. Let me just flip to my goals. So I have 4, which I may actually put 5 on there, and it may kind of seem like lofty goals. It kind of is. I just marked myself with my pen like I always do. So I'm actually going to put one more. Alrighty, now I have all of my goals that I want to work on. They are all novel related, no short stories or poems, which I'll probably be working on some anyways, just because it's a natural thing for me, especially with short stories. I did write one recently, and I had my dad read it, and he did really like it, but I just had to change up like the timeline because everything was kind of in the wrong place, and it's only a paragraph long, but everything was in the wrong place. So he said if I switched everything around, because this needs to be up here, that needs to be there, it would make a lot more sense. But other than that, it was a good short story. And I'm starting to think about sharing like the early drafts of my stories on Wattpad. I do have an account on there. I just, haven't really cared to put anything else on there. And I think I do have some snippets of writing on there, but I haven't even used my laptop a lot since I started working. Like, I haven't opened it up a lot, and that kind of brings me to the first goal, which is to finish draft 2 of Kyle's Purgatory. Kyle's Purgatory is my main novel. It's my main passion at this point in my life right now. Last year from August to December, I wrote the first draft, and it kind of went in a direction that I wasn't even planning for it to go in, but it went there. And now I'm just trying to make it better. But I feel like as I'm nearing what I think is the end of at least this part, because I've come up with some ideas to put at the beginning of the book and at the end, I think it's just kind of going downhill, so I need to figure out a way to just make the story work and seem, I don't know what the words I'm looking for are. So next year, one of the things that I will be working on is Kyle's Purgatory. And the second thing that I will be working on, I have this work in progress title that I just came up with so that I had something to go off of to talk about this story without actually talking about it. I'm calling it Willow the Cat. My friend from work named the cat because I didn't know any names and I needed a name. It does have a black cat with golden eyes in it, but it's a story that I think I maybe hinted at once or so, but I'm on chapter 4 right now. And since I'm writing it in this, I'm wondering just how long it's going to be when I type it up, and it may even just be like a novella length. But I'm liking it right now. It's kind of interesting and different, even though all my stuff is kind of different. So I want to finish draft 1 because I am handwriting it like on my 15-minute breaks and my lunch breaks whenever I'm not talking with my coworkers. Because it's kind of hard not to talk to my coworkers who are really nice, and they also know my boyfriend, which is how they know me. So it's a lot easier to talk to people, because otherwise I would have been just very shy. But number 3 is I have this dystopian novel that I really want to write. Even though I know the dystopian genre is actually way out of, like, reach, I guess. I don't know the right words to say. The dystopian genre is kind of done and over with. The only, like, dystopian show that I watch is The Walking Dead, and even that's more so, like, drama and horror, within dystopian. But this is kind of as horrifying as The Walking Dead. I've been watching that show since I was 13, 12 or 13, and I'm 23 now. So that show has had an impact on this story, which I'm calling Unit 15. I'm hardly into it because I've been working on all my other projects and it hasn't been like a main focus for me. It's just kind of been something that I'm excited to write, but I haven't had the time to truly focus on it, even though I love the idea. And part of it actually came from a nightmare that I had, which I don't know where in the world this came from because it was horrifying. And I thought I was gonna die in that dream, but I didn't. It was someone else. Luckily, no one I know. At least in this world, because that's a completely different world that I dreamt of, and I have no idea why I even had that dream, but I'm starting to realize that I'm kind of turning my nightmares into actual stories, and that kind of brings me into the last one that I have, or the second to last one that I have, so my 4th one. There is a continuous nightmare that I've had, and I actually talked to my dad about it last night, because I've only told him, my mom, and my cousin Renee, and my boyfriend about it, and it's a very small group of people that know about this dream, just because it kind of made me feel like I was going crazy, because I've had the same dream in different scenarios, I guess, in the same place, and I'm talking to the same person in every single dream. So when I was talking to my dad, he said that sometimes your mind can manifest your fears into something in your dreams, like the individual that I keep dreaming about. Because I do feel fear when I am with her in my dreams. And I've come up with a way to turn this into a paranormal story. I just have to kind of figure out how to write it. So that will be a project that I work on at some point next year as well. It's just a matter of when, because I have all of these novels that I want to write. Maybe one novella, which is Willow the Cat. That's just the working title. I have an idea for the title, which is actually a line that one of my characters says to someone else, to one of my other main characters, because there's 3. And I may use that one. Oh, my lights are flickering. That will annoy me, but I'm going to... Oh, good, it stopped. I have 3 main characters, and that one line does stand out to me right now, but I want to wait until after I finish it to see what kind of stands out to me, because sometimes I come up with the title of a story while I'm in the midst of writing the first draft or the second draft, or I come up with a story or a title for the story way before I write it, just so I have a name to go by. And sometimes that ends up sticking throughout the majority of the time that I'm writing that story. So, brings me to the last one. I have been thinking heavily about rewriting Zamora. Now, if you've been with my channel since I've started, that has been the main project that I've worked on since 2010. I finished the last draft that I worked on in 2017, and I had self-published it a couple times, but then I took it down just from being afraid of people reading the story, just because to me, it seems personal, and it was the second novel that I finished and got that far with. But it's become something where I keep thinking of a way to revive the story. And Shaylin Wrights actually did a video recently where she talked about stories that she was reviving in different ways, and completely changing the story. And I was like, that's funny that she came out with this video, because I'm in the midst of trying to think about how to change up Zamora. And I have to rewrite it anyways if I want to either... I may try and go traditionally publishing with this one, if I do. And even talking about it right now, it makes me want to just jump into writing it, but like the right words or the right idea hasn't come. I don't know if I want to stay in the same world that I have up on my wall, which is the map that I look at every day, and I think about my characters every single day, wondering what they would be doing right now if I were to be writing like the sequel or all the other books that I had planned in this series. But now I'm thinking, what if I reinvented it? And when I told my boyfriend, or every time I talk about this, my boyfriend is like, it seems like you were never happy or proud of your story in the first place. Why are you thinking of rewriting it? Every now and then, even though he's annoyed about me talking about my books, he has something good to say like that. And I don't know why I think I never was truly satisfied with how I built like the world, because it is kind of a high fantasy adventure story, and it's got a little bit of dark fantasy in there as well, but not like Kyle's Purgatory. Kyle's Purgatory is dark fantasy, at the greatest lengths that I can write it. And now that I've written Kyle's Purgatory, which is more mature than Zamora ever was, I kind of wonder if I can write Zamora in that same maturity that I've written Kyle's Purgatory. It's just kind of been on my mind a lot, and I don't know, have you guys ever like revived a story that you've worked on for most of your life and you changed up the entire thing? Like, do you have any videos where you talked about that, or if you want to share your experience down below? Because this is my first time thinking about reviving a story like this that's already been established, that I've lived in for quite a long time. Griffin is my all-time favorite character that I've ever written, and I want to tell his story, but I want to tell it in a way that it's easy for me to write and not mess up. And also, this story has already gone through a couple of changes where it wasn't originally the fantasy world that I made it in. It was in the modern world, and it was a completely different character than Griffin Hale. It's just gone through so many changes, and I just want to find the right one to where I'm happy with sending it to agents if I want to send it to agents, and try to kickstart my career with this story, because I'm still working on Kyle's Purgatory. So I also want to make it more into the dark fantasy and like horror realm, because that's what I love, and it has that kind of darkness underlining the story with Griffin's character, but I need to mature in a way that I've matured with Kyle's Purgatory. And it's just, I don't know. But that's the last thing that I have on my list, and I'm really hoping that I can somehow find a way. And even at work, I find myself thinking about this when I'm stocking the shelves and not helping anyone. I just find myself thinking about this story, or thinking about my Willow the Cat story, which I do bring with me every day because it's in my everyday carry. I'm also going to do a 1 week review of this, and then I'll do a 1 month and 1 year and 2 years kind of thing to show you guys like the links that this journal cover has gone with me in. You can see some scratches, and I'll talk about that in another video. Excuse me. Anyways, those are all of my goals. I have them all written down so that I know, and I'm glad that I added some more in, because that is a project that I want to get out into the world. I'm just trying to figure out how to write it in a way that I'm happy with it. So if you have any videos on like reviving projects, kind of like Shaylin Wright's video that she did earlier in the week, which I was so happy that she did that video. So if you're watching, thank you, Shaylin. Because I didn't feel alone in wanting to revive an old project. Yeah, so I think also another thing is I miss handwriting my novels and my stories, because I've handwritten 2 or 3. I think it's just a 2. I've handwritten 2. And I've handwritten a lot of poems, and I think a couple of short stories, I'm not sure. But this will kind of be like my journal and my story writing journal, traveler's notebook. Yeah. I haven't been able to put it down, so I've been doing a lot of journaling and a lot of writing just so I don't have to put it down. Anyways, that is going to be it for, wow, this 19-minute and 43-second video. It's gonna hit 19 minutes and 50 seconds, probably 20 minutes before I end it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you want more writing and journaling and book related videos. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. I do have a short story collection that is published on Kindle that I completely forgot about until last week when I went on my KDP profile and saw that I still had that collection live. She's Here in the Cinnamon Blood House.